Hey, we welcome you back to Bill Greehey Arena ahead of the St. Mary's Rattlers hosting the Texas A&M Kingsville Javelinas. Andrew Stossmeister back. Glad to have you with us here for this afternoon's tilt between the 9-8 Rattlers and the 12-4 Javelinas. St. Mary's has won 3 in a row. They continue to find their footing and put it together on their home court. They're now 3-4 here at home. They've been a great road team, but trying to pick up wins at home has been harder than you would think, and maybe a little harder than Coach Z would like. You know, we got a chance to talk with him, and you just heard from him where it's like, hey, look, we got to keep building, keep growing. I mean, he thought on Thursday there were some really nice moments, but there were also some really poor moments. I tell you, when we can talk to a coach about poor moments and you win by 24, I mean, there's a lot of things that are certainly pretty good. So it's definitely a growth moment where you win. You like to see everybody kind of defend one another as teammates, but now it's about getting back to a really, really good basketball team coming into your place, and we'll see how the Rattlers are able to respond here this afternoon. We talk about it one side. Again, the Javelinas 12-4. They played really pretty well on Thursday night in Austin. In fact, they had St. Ed's on the ropes, and St. Ed's I think has lost one time. They almost went down a second time. Give a lot of credit to them. That's I think still to me those guys, West Texas A&M are still very, very good. Commerce, DBU. There's a couple teams out there that are just stellar in this league. But if you can play with one of them, especially on their home floor, that says how good you really are. And you can tell that this is a good basketball team for head coach Johnny Estelle. His starting lineup will look like this. We're going to see John Mouton, the 6'6" senior, start at guard out of Missouri City, Texas, averaging 8 points and 6 rebounds. Chauncey Thomas will also start. He's the only returning starter from last year's 12-15 Lone Star team. Trey Flowers is also out there, the leading scorer, 11 points a game and a couple of rebounds. We'll also see Daniel Severo, the 6'7" senior out of Brazil, transferred from McLennan Community College a year ago, but he came off the bench in 26 games. He is averaging 7 points and 4 rebounds. The head coach, as mentioned, Johnny Estelle, back at his alma mater, a graduate of 1998. He is 74 and 81. His team is 12-4, 8-2 in conference play, 2-2 in the division. This is a divisional game here this afternoon. The Rattlers 9-8, 5-5 in Lone Star Conference play, 1-1 in divisional action. We'll start with Caleb Jordan, the 6-foot sophomore out of Midlothian, Texas. Caleb had a tough start to the game, going zip for 7, but he rallied back and found 15 points, hitting 4 of his 5 shots that he took after that start. Kobe McGee, the junior out of Brandeis High School here in San Antonio, averaging 12 points and 6 assists. Probably played his best home game of the year. He was 7 of 11 shooting at 15 points in the win on Thursday night. Marquise Houston will also start, the senior out of Houston, averaging 13 points and 5 rebounds. Had a season low 4 points on Thursday, zip for 7 from beyond the arc. Marquise has kind of been working on his leg a little bit, but I talked to him in the hallway before the game today, and he said, Andrew, I'm going to play better. I didn't play very well on Thursday. I'm glad my guys around me played much better. Matej Gaspert is the post man, 6'11", 235 out of Zagreb, Croatia, averaging 8 points and 5 rebounds. Had a season high 4 blocks on Thursday. He was at the center of that melee at the end of the game. Said he's fine. He's looking forward to going here today. And then Lamont Traylor will also start. Only played 9 minutes though on Thursday. The senior out of Las Vegas, Nevada, is averaging 7 points and 5 rebounds. The head coach Jim Zelznick in his 15th season, 227 victories for Coach Z. This is his 423rd game for St. Mary's. He's looking forward to it. He's excited. I'll tell you, he's excited about this game, but he wants to get this one done so he can go watch his Kansas City Chiefs play in the AFC Championship tomorrow. Glad to have you with us on behalf of our entire crew. I'm Andrew Stossmeister, and we got Zach, we got Matt, we got a bunch of other guys back there. Appreciate all their hard work for helping us out here for this Lone Star Conference battle. This will be the 43rd time these two teams have met. St. Mary's leads the all-time series 22-20. The series began back in 1993. It's kind of gone back and forth, and this is one of the few teams that Coach Z does not have a winning record against. He's 11-13 against Texas A&M Kingsville, and Johnny Estelle has won 5 times. He has lost 5 times against the St. Mary's Rattlers, including the last game that was played here a year ago. Previous to games, though, at Bill Greehey were won by the Kingsville Javelinas. The head official today, Andre Crawford. Happy to see him today. I know he was excited. He was on top of the moon after watching his alma mater, the LSU Tigers, win the national championship. A.J. Lauterbach is the first umpire. Landon Kamek is the second umpire in the stripes here this afternoon. Good crowd on hand for the Rattlers and the Javelinas. St. Mary's looking for victory number 4. Texas A&M Kingsville trying to start it back up. They won 8 in a row earlier this season. In the center circle, it'll be the big fella, Lamont Traylor, at 6'6". It's undersized 6'6". I think Lamont's actually closer to about 6'8". It always looks like that with his shoes. That's what Bubba Meyer and I are always joking about. But he's got some hops, to say the least. Will Shayer, the 6'8" sophomore, will jump in the middle as Lamont wins the tip and a toss. And we'll start with it first. Going right to our left are the Rattlers, averaging 76 points per game. Their league numbers have been up, but it was a quiet, very, very quiet 72 points on Thursday night. Gaspert's got it. Drives to the foul line. Doesn't like his look. Houston, can he get going early? Finds his way back to Caleb Jordan. 7 to shoot. Caleb on a switch, drives, baseline, tries to find Kobe McGee. It gets to Kobe, fires a 3, rims up and out. Rebound deflects to the perimeter, and Kobe's got it. Tell you what, you see so much energy at the start of the game. As Trey Flowers picks up the basketball, Kobe McGee trying to pick up where he left off on Thursday, misses. Rebound, John Mooten. And the Kingsville Javelinas have it back. Not a high-scoring team, one of the best defenses in the league. They can score. I mean, don't get me wrong, but they're the 4th best defense in the league, giving up just 67 points per game. They average 71. First minute of action here from Bill Greehey Arena in San Antonio. Flowers has got it, working Lamont, and that 2-pointer's up and good. That kid is talented. Flowers, a transfer from Seward County Community College in Nebraska, has got great ability, to say the least. 2-0 Kingsville. McGee working as he squares it up. Rattlers picked up their first league home win this season as Caleb Jordan let that one fly. Hit it really high but missed it as Chauncey Thomas got in his face and forced Caleb into the first foul of the game. And I'll tell you, there's not many times it happens, but on Thursday, you know, I had to watch Bubba Meyer, the assistant coach, pull back Coach Z a couple times because there were some moments where he was really unhappy. And he said that showed in practice yesterday. There was a little bit more yelling than usual in a soft, lighter practice. But, you know, he wants to see his team, does Coach Z, be more crisp today. They did not play a crisp game on Thursday despite winning by 24 points. As that ball is kicked through the lane, it'll stay with the Javelinas. 14 on the shot clock. Program, again, has had a lot of success. NCAA tournament a few years ago. They've been, you know, it doesn't seem like it because Kingsville is always here playing St. Mary's in almost every sport. They know each other well. It's, you know, a 2.5-hour drive. Bus trip's pretty reasonable. But it's one of those things that, you know, they've been in the Lone Star. They've competed. They understand what it takes to win down there. As Gaspert's called for a kick. That'll reset the shot clock. But, you know, it's one of those deals that, you know, Kingsville's had to really work and grind. They're kind of having the upper hand. St. Mary's, the newer team that comes in trying to make a difference. Flowers are working back around to Shayer. Ball held out over there by Chauncey Thomas. 2 minutes gone by here in the opening half. Kingsville by a bucket. Left side for Thomas, averaging 7 points a game. Drives, got blocked. Ball goes out of bounds. It's off of him, and St. Mary's will take over. Says Landon Carmack, the baseline official. St. Mary's, as we've talked about, they're scoring the ball really well, but they haven't really put together those great defensive efforts that you'd like to see. Now, on Thursday, that was a little closer to what you'd like. Again, it was the fewest points that had been scored against them, the 48 for International. As Lamont Traylor lays it up and in, good find. Caleb Jordan on the assist. But, you know, again, continue to stay consistent with there. And as we talked about in the open, building. Good drive by Mouton, who was blocked out of bounds. It stays off of St. Mary's, though, but Traylor and Gasper did a great job with it as Bubba Meyer trying to argue that call. And A.J. Lauterbach, the first umpire, says no. Doesn't like that. That's a veteran guy. Himself and Andre have done this a long, long time. Shot clock is fresh to work with for the Javelinas, but they have to burn a timeout. And I think Chauncey Thomas had asked for the time. He is not given it, so that'll be a turnover. Andre Crawford said, no, there was no timeout given. That's not what Chauncey Thomas thought, the senior out of Plano, Texas. 17-19 to play, just underway here in this first half. Rattlers looking for their 4th straight. Marquise Houston. Can Marquise get going? And we've seen some players kind of have, again, that dog day of the season, mid-January to the end of the month. You know it's the longest part. You're not any closer than you are to the beginning, but you're in the league season as that jumper from Gaspard is out of bounds, and it's off of Kingsville. Be honest, it looked like it went off the Lamont trailer, and Lamont just kind of walked away trying to be like, nah, it wasn't me. Again, not going to review it. No reason to at this point in the game. Lamont catches, hands it off, Kobe McGee. Kobe steps in, 2-point effort is up, no good. He is 0 for 3, offensive rebound. Gaspard, what a spin inside for the 6'11 Croatian to get onto the scoreboard. St. Mary's their first lead at 4-2. Rattlers are 9-8, Kingsville is 12-4. Again, they were a team that, I talked a lot about with their matchup on Thursday with St. Ed's. They match up really well. It's kind of different here as Daniel Severo, the 6'7" Brazilian, is fouled. He'll head to the line for 2 shots, but you wonder where they line up. I mean, again, this is a team that is not necessarily going to go up and down the court with you. When they've scored more than 80 points, they've won all 4 of their games. But when they've gotten to 70, they're 8-1. Their losses come after that, just a little bit. I mean, they've still won. They've won kind of all across the board. They've got a lot of length, and they've got a pretty good amount of depth. Severo at the line, his first free throw is good. He's now 18 of 25 on the season, 72%. Flowers will go out as the Javelinas bring in Rashawn Thomas. Their leading scorer comes off the bench. And I don't think it's ever been on purpose, but it's pretty fun when you can hide your best player, honestly, on the bench. Very Isaiah Thomas-like. I mean, he's got a lot of ability. Second free throw is short. Rebound, Kobe McGee. Also into the game for the first time, Kirtland Wesley for St. Mary's. Marquise Houston's got it, attacking in the half-court left. Rattlers are in the whites. Javelinas in the royal blues as a step-back try by McGee is up and good. Got bumped anyway, but he takes 4 shots in the first 3 minutes and 45 seconds. Finally gets one up. And I tell you, that's a coaching point right there. That's where both Bubba Meyer and Coach Z have really been trying to talk with Kobe, saying, score the ball, man. You can do it. On the left side right now, Rashawn Thomas gets a touch. Back around to the right as Creighton Avery gets his first minutes of the game, and that'll be traveling. Turnover, Will Shayer, turnover number 2. That'll take us to our first media timeout. St. Mary's 6, Texas A&M Kingsville 3. We're back after this 60-second timeout on the Lone Star Conference Network. .55 to play here in this first half. Rattlers leading at 6-3. Andrew Stossmeister back. The Rattlers and Javelinas, they go back a ways, back to 1993. Rattlers have won the last 3. They held a slight edge in the series, 22-20 over Kingsville, but the Javelinas last time through just a few years ago won 4 in a row. Played very well against St. Mary's. Been very close games, as with usual. And, I don't know what it is about the swing with International and Kingsville. Both of those teams have given St. Mary's trouble over the years. They seem to be grinders. That's exactly what Coach Z said with us in the pregame. As Emmanuel Awuzie in the game for the first time. Look at that, showing some range. 18-footer on that right wing is good. M's got some range out there. He can shoot it. Didn't see him shoot the ball at all on Thursday in the victory, but rebounded the heck out of it. St. Mary's kind of went off for the blocks. They were dominant inside the paint. Avery brings the ball back all the way around. First minutes of the game for John Guerrera. As it crosses back inside of 8 to shoot. 3-point try is up, too strong. Rebound, Kirtland Wesley's got it. Big fella will come on out. You'd like to see Kirtland get going and you'd like to see him play a 20-minute game. He hasn't done that in a long time. As he catches down low, he's blocked from behind. Ball is loose on the deck. Kirtland dives, trying to pull it in, and we'll get a tie-up and a jump ball as Andre Crawford trying to tell everybody to slow up a little bit. I'll tell you what, it's funny. Kirtland, when you talk to him, one of the soft-spoken guys, real cool, real chill, but I don't think he's the dude you want to get tangled up with. It's not very much fun down low with him. Alternating possession gives the ball back to Kingsville, who starts this game 1 for 4, but rebounds are going to be big. We talked about that in our pregame with Coach Z. St. Mary's has done a really good job, one of the top offensive rebounding teams. On the other side, the Javelina is one of the best defensive rebounding teams. Obviously, something has to give. Who's going to be better here today? Deontay McClellan has checked in the game for the first time as that ball is slapped at. Foul is called on St. Mary's. Kirtland Wesley called for the reach-in foul. And Coach Z and Bob say, did that just happen? Certainly did. You got to be careful. And again, that's why, again, going back to that point with Kirtland, he doesn't get a lot of playing time for his minutes because he's typically in foul trouble. They go right back at him again, but traveling is called on McClellan, the junior out of Austin. Transferred in from McLennan Community College, and that's what's real fun about a guy like Johnny Estelle now in year number 6. He has worked up the ranks. He knows the JUCO levels well. He won at Navarro Community College for a while. He's done a little bit of everything. As Kobe McGee with a high step throws the ball back to the right. 3-point try. Marquise Houston watches his 0 for 7 streak snap. He's got his 43rd triple of the season, and the Rattlers have built an 11-3 lead to begin this game in the first 5 minutes and 53 seconds. Javelina basketball as we get a foul away from the ball. Kirtland is holding on to Deontay McClellan down low, and Kirtland is looking down. He kind of knows, and he will come out. And again, just frustration as Dylan Eisenhower subs in. And those are the moments that, for Wesley that got to find a way. It's tough to have that, but, they've been working with Kirtland on that the last couple of years. Something's got either you gotta listen and give in to that, or continue to play 5 minutes a half maybe at best. He gets 4 minutes as that bucket is up and in. Pretty good finish inside the lane that time. Guerrero will get credit for that. Kobe McGee and St. Mary's back to work in the zone to our left as that ball goes out of bounds. Caleb Jordan with a turnover. Caleb, after being named Lone Star Conference Offensive Player of the Week this week, had a really difficult start, as we mentioned on Thursday. He recovered very well. Still had 15 points. He's done a good job staying active. Got involved. His assists were up. His rebound numbers were up as well. But, he was hitting the deck a lot. As Jordan says hello over there to Mr. Norris. Of course, and the rest of our crew, Heather Kennedy. Courtney's over there as well. Right there taking all of the stats and information. 13:31 to play, half number 1. Rattlers are 5 of 11 to start this game. That's a nice number for them. They're 1 of 4 from downtown, but you wonder. I'm always curious about that psyche of a team. How much do those numbers from the previous games set in? It was just a couple days ago. It's great to forget, but it's also, you miss a few, you remember them. As the layup is up and in from McClellan. Dylan Eisenhower tried to take the charge. He was the guy on the floor. Back-to-back hoops for Texas A&M Kingsville. Have it back to a 4-point game. McGee out to Eisenhower. Extra pass to Jordan. And sometimes you see guys just trying to continue to move that ball. It's good to see that, but at the same time, the better shot has been passed up upon. And I think that happened a lot on Thursday for St. Mary's. If you get the good shot and you're open, take it. McGee that time was contested. Rebounded away by John Guerrero for the Javelinas. And they'll come back. Here working on offense. 3 of 6 from the field, but they've got 3 turnovers. Guerrero underneath as that one's knocked free. Kobe McGee will pick it up. 2 on 3. Eisenhower runs the deck, hits the bottom of the floor hard on the St. Mary's baseline. And a foul is called. And tell you what, Johnny Estelle is not very happy with that. You can see his assistant, Omar Gonzalez, on the other side. He was trying to complain to the official about that call. That was clearly a foul, and that's, again, you got to get back and hustle. As Eisenhower at the line shooting 2. Dylan had his 7th game of 10 or more on Thursday. Also had 7 rebounds. And again, that's what's fun about him. You watch, it's sneaky. the way Eisenhower, his game has come along. He's averaging 8.5 and almost 5.5 points. And I would have argued before looking further this week that Dillon might have been the top scorer, one of the top scorers coming off the bench. Another place I looked is in Austin, where they have a couple guys out there that have been coming off. Sherville for a while was coming off the bench, and he's now starting. He's double figures a night. But, you see on the other side, Rashawn Thomas, he's a double figures kind of guy and hasn't gotten many touches yet in this basketball game, as Mouton is inside the lane, and a jump ball is called. Possession arrow this time will be in favor of St. Mary's, as John Mouton kind of got stuck on the deck. First minutes of the night as well for Jaron Presley. Joins Awuzie, Marquise Houston, Kobe McGee, and Dylan Eisenhower. Basically, the bench that's been playing most of this season. McGee and company, 8 minutes in, have a 5-point advantage. McGee looking on for a team that's averaged 9 made threes per game. Screen from Awuzie. Rattlers are 1 of 5 to start this game as Eisenhower out to Presley deep from straight on, and how about a 25-foot three? Straight on for Jaron. That's his 15th of the season. Tell you what, he was really pumped up the other night when he finally got one going. Had an 0 for 6 start, hit his 7th, and it was kind of just that sigh of relief. Traveling is the call as Rashawn Thomas gives the basketball up. Timeout is on the court. We'll take it as well. 15-7, St. Mary's leads. They match their largest lead of the game. We're back in 60 seconds on the Lone Star Conference Network. Back inside Bill Greehey Arena, 11:37 to play here in half number 1. Rattlers leading it 15-7. Fans, the St. Mary's Rattlers would like to thank Raising Cane's, the official chicken finger of Rattler Athletics. Treat yourself after the game by heading to their restaurant located at 7020 Bandera Road in the Leon Valley. Rattlers come out of the timeout. Kobe McGee, Dylan Eisenhower, Marquise Houston, Lamont Traylor, and Jaron Presley. They've gotten off to a good start offensively, 6 of 13, 2 of 6 from downtown. 15 on the shot clock as Kobe McGee drives. Ball is deflected. It goes out of bounds. It's off of the Javelinas. The officials are both looking on, and I think good job by Andre Crawford to come over and give some help over there to the young official, Landon Kamek. Landon is a former player that it's good to see some young blood, as they say, from the coaches. But, the officiating it's got to be harder and harder. Replays and those kinds of things make it that much more difficult. There's Dylan Eisenhower. Nice drive, working one-on-one. Beats Shayer to his right and pushes the lead back out to 10. It's the largest lead of the night. Rattlers with a good start. They needed that here tonight. Playing a quality team like Texas A&M Kingsville, who is 12-4. Got to come out, again, keep playing well, keep playing that stellar defense that's allowed this win streak to happen, as that shot is no good. Marquise Houston says thank you very much, being in the right place. Pulls in the rebound and is fouled. It'll be make it third team foul on Kingsville. Rattlers won on Thursday. And again, found a way to win, not scoring a lot of points. That's what's pretty impressive, I think, for St. Mary's. They didn't score 80 points, and they're kind of their MO has been, hey, if they get to 80, they're not losing. They're 6-0. But to be able to pick up their third victory in their last 11 tries, I think that was real big for them. Kind of gave them that added confidence of, hey, we don't have to score that many every game. When we do, it's great. But, again, it goes back to what we were talking about in the women's game. Defense still wins games. Offense is fun to talk about as McGee blocked slightly inside the lane. Severo got a piece of it and brings it back for the Javelinas. They're in the royal blues and the gold trim around their jerseys. St. Mary's Mary's in their home whites, where they're 3-4 this season. Lob underneath, and Noah Lang is hanging on to somebody. Will Shayer was out there, and foul is called. Team's 5th on St. Mary's. Rattlers do have 6 in a row in the last 2:20. On the other side, Kingsville's got 3 turnovers in each of the last 3 minutes. Kobe McGee off the miss for St. Mary's, pushes. Down court, extra skip, Jaron Presley. Jaron that time didn't have any room to move. And he'll start it back over with Dylan Eisenhower. Trying to get it back to the point guard, Kobe McGee. What a difference Kobe has made. It's good to see him come over, the transfer from UTEP, coming back home to San Antonio. He's a distributor as much as he is a scorer, as Lamont Traylor lays it up and in. Eisenhower on the assist. That's excellent ball movement, where you have one person create that driving ability, and then the willingness to share the basketball from Dylan Eisenhower, who had an open shot, passed on an 18-footer, got it to an easy layup inside to Lamont Traylor. Rattlers by 12, drive down the lane, layup is up, it is no good, but a foul is called. It's on St. Mary's. Lang was out of position. And for the Javelinas, they get a chance to try to end an 8-0 run here in this first half. Rattlers have played well against Kingsville in the past, as we mentioned. They liked their matchup a year ago, and I think it was just, again, when you can shoot the 3, it helps, but also you have some guys that are big enough to drive. You know, I think that's why Kingsville last year gave problems to St. Ed's, for example. I mean, they beat them in Austin, lost to them at home in their little home and away non-conference tilt last season. But a big reason was they matched up much better in the post than St. Ed's did. Now, St. Ed's obviously got a lot better as the season went along and beat them later on in January. But that's one of those things that St. Mary's, they like their matchup. They can shoot outside, but they like their post guys as well. Eisenhower, good ball fake after the rebound. As he gets it back down court, Marquise Houston catches, fires a 3, no good. Eisenhower at the top of everybody, helps deflect the ball out to his teammate, Marquise Houston. And a new chance in between the circles to work here for Kobe McGee. 19-8, 11 minutes gone by here, half number 1. Traylor sets the screen, McGee down court, strip, good defense. Severo knocked it free. At the other end, though, Marquise Houston has the strip for St. Mary's. And again, officials letting things kind of roll a little bit. There's been some contact out there. I think there's been some good ball movement inside the lane, but a lot of just, hey, let them go. If, big on big, if you will. If you want to challenge inside that 15-foot box, good luck. Eisenhower open for 3, 21-foot 3 straight on. He missed it. Lamont Traylor, another offensive rebound, the 5th for St. Mary's here in this first half. Rattlers by 11. Eisenhower drives. He stripped. Ball goes out of bounds. It's off of number 4, John Mouton for Texas A&M Kingsville. And now Caleb Jordan will come back in as Kobe McGee will get his first rest of the night. It was kind of interesting talking to Bubba Meyer, the assistant coach for the Rattlers, about those 3 guys. As Presley fires the jumper and misses, and then a foul is called on the Rattlers on the rebound. But you look at Caleb Jordan, Kobe McGee, and Marquise Houston. They are all 3 in the top 5 in minutes played in the Lone Star Conference, and it's January 18th. It could be a problem. You got to worry about that a little bit, and Kobe McGee think I'm going to get a rest, instead has to come right back in. Caleb Jordan goes out. He just picked up a reach-in foul, his second. So at 8 minutes, Caleb was taking 1 shot. He's on the bench for the rest of the first half, likely. 1-1 at the other end for Wellington Stovall, who makes the first. He'll earn a second. Stovall is a redshirt freshman out of Houston by way of Yates High School. Only it did not play on Thursday. Second toss is up, and it is good. 9-point game. Rattlers playing good defense. They've shot the ball pretty well also. Trying to just turn that in. I'll tell you, this team has shot very well away from this arena. That's very unlikely because St. Mary's does practice in here. They will use the other gym behind here as well from time to time. But, I mean, most stuff still occurs in here. Dylan Eisenhower, good split of the defense, gets it to the Traylor, late to Jaron Presley. Jaron's got 6 to shoot, and Lamont Traylor just got hit like he would a linebacker inside the lane. He's going to the line for some shots, it looks like. Lamont was kind of off on his heels trying to get the ball up. And right now, there's a long discussion going on. Both teams are going to head to the bench as head coach Johnny Estelle is chewing the ear of Landon Kamek, who had made a separate call the possession prior to. 7:54 to play here in this first half. It's 19-10. St. Mary's leading it. We'll take a timeout. We're back in 60 seconds on the Lone Star Conference Network. Welcome back to Buddy and Annemeyer Court inside of Bill Greehey Arena in San Antonio, Texas. Rattlers leading 19-10 over the 12-4 Texas A&M Kingsville Javelinas. 2 free throws right now for St. Mary's. Quick look at the scoreboard for games going on earlier. The St. Mary's women picked up a victory in overtime over Texas A&M Kingsville. The 250th victory for Coach Jason Martin's. Coach is going to join us at halftime, so do stick around for that. We'd love to have you on. In the men's games that are going on right now, how about this one for you? UTPB, Texas Permian Basin, beats Dallas Baptist in Dallas today at the Burke Center. I don't remember the last time DBU lost at home on purpose like that to a team that really wasn't as highly rated as Texas Permian Basin. There's nothing to say against them, but that's a huge loss at home for that group. Team that's scoring a ton of points as usual. As Eisenhower finds Jaron Presley, 2 on the shot clock. 3-pointers, an air ball. Eisenhower missed it. He stays with it. Third opportunity, still no good. And finally, Kingsville emerges away with it. Deontay McClellan, the Austin native, has got it back as we got a whistle and a check on the shot clock is what they're going to go ahead and try to get set up. Had a hard time getting that thing good and ready to go. They'll get that change back and ready to roll. 7:24 to play. We're in this first half. Rattlers by 9. We'll get back to that scoreboard, I promise, momentarily. As soon as at least time allows it, because the men's games are just getting underway. We'll also hit those for sure at halftime. Ball right now played into the end to our left. Mouton gives the ball back out corner right for 3. It's off the backboard on the side. That ball goes out of bounds. John Mouton, the last man to touch it on the other side. Men's games that are going on. St. Anne's leads International 86-60. Started earlier today. Cameron and Midwestern are early on in the first half. Cameron by a bucket. West Texas A&M and Lubbock playing today from Canyon, 32-16. The Buffaloes in front. UT Tyler hosts Arkansas Fort Smith. 4-point game. The Lions are in front. Commerce and Oklahoma Christian. 4-point game at halftime. The Lions are in front. That's a pretty competitive game as of right now. In our game, it's 19-10. St. Mary's leading it as Marquise Houston down the lane, floating one-hander from 5, no good. Rebound inside by Kingsville's John Mouton, who brings in another rebound. That is his 4th of the game. Trey Flowers back in, pulls up for 2. That ball rims up and out. Ball still free. Flowers gets it back on the offensive board. Severo, who got it to him, watches his buddy Trey Flowers score. The second leading scorer at 11 points a game, gets his first bucket of the afternoon. 7-point affair with 6:13 to play here in this first half. Kobe McGee off a screen from Eisenhower, gives it right back to Dillon. Trying to force it down to Matej Gaspert. 6'11" is good to be for the big fella from Croatia who scores his second bucket of the game. Actually, officially now, he's got 6, I believe. I don't know, let's take him back to 4. Getting ahead of ourselves just a little bit. Rattlers again by 9. St. Mary's averaging 76. Javelinas, one of the best defenses in the league, as that 3-point effort is no good. Gaspard got pulled to the deck. Ball went out of bounds, and the officials are walking back around to see where it's at as they mop up the floor, make sure all is good and well. I think it's going to stay here with Kingsville. There was a little bit of confusion as Emmanuel Awuzie is going to check back in for St. Mary's. He'll come in. Dylan Eisenhower goes out. Flowers, who also just came in, is back out on deck along with his teammate Jamel Bradley, who gets his first minutes of the night. My goodness, Jamel's got some big shoes, doesn't he? That's a big feet on a big fella. 5:33 to play, Rattlers by 9 as that three-pointer is up and good. Trey Flowers with his 33rd on the year. He's really the main guy that hits threes. Brings it back to 6. Closest it's felt like it since it was a one field goal lead. It was 2-0 at the beginning. St. Mary's has led since then. It's Houston working one-on-one with Mooten. A lot of contact, and the ball worked down low, and offensive foul called Matej Gaspard, I believe. And Matej is going to go and ask. Didn't like Matt just trying to go down there and kind of mess around with things. Just trying to create too much contact and separation. You know, if that's not being called, you don't worry about it too much, but it's been called. Team foul number 8, but not in the act of shooting, so again, it doesn't result in free throws at the other end. 5 minutes to go here, first half. Wide open shooter, John Mouton for 3, missed it. Marquise Houston grabs another rebound. That is his 3rd of the game. Marquise kind of sneaky with his 10 rebounds in the win on Thursday. He only had 4 points, but he rebounded well as Kobe McGee connects from downtown for the first time tonight. That gives Kobe 30 as a St. Mary's Rattler. Back to a 9-point advantage. Game was played at that. It's felt 8 to 10 points most of this first half. The Rattlers had a 7-0 run and a 6-0 run, 2 separate occasions, and Kingsville just hasn't recovered yet from that. Javelina is just 5 of 14. They've turned the ball over 7 times, so that's a big part of the problem. As that jumper is off, rebound, Awuzie's got it for St. Mary's inside. Good job by Emmanuel to get over to it as McGee pushes it back to the big fella inside the lane. The shot is up and is good. Count it and a foul. Good job by Emmanuel Awuzie running the floor. Kobe McGee with his 3rd assist of the game gives him 94 on the season. And Emmanuel Awuzie has got a pair of buckets and a chance at one more at the line. Emmanuel with his first free throw attempt in a while. It's only his 5th free throw attempt in the last 6 games. Shot is up. Iron is not kind. Rebound to the Javelinas, John Mouton, who's got 4 here in this first half. 4 minutes to go. Still got a timeout awaiting in the next stoppage of play. Mouton trying to roll it inside. Again, St. Mary's has made it very difficult to get anything underneath. And that's given Kingsville some problems. Again, more of their stuff is inside. They've got some dudes outside that can shoot, but they haven't seen much of it. That's one of them, Creighton Avery, who comes in with his 5th 3 of the season. Trying to break a spell of 6 of 16 shooting. Tough start for the Javelinas. They are down 8. Kobe McGee gives the ball back out. Marquise Houston with it. Marquise has got 3 points. He'll take a long distance 3 from 30 feet away, and he hits it from straight on. Marquise has got all the range in the world. He'll shoot it when you watch him practice. I mean, he's shooting 35, 40-footers, and as a coach, I've asked, Coach Meyer, does that bother you? He said, no, he makes them from there all the time. Be nice if he could do it in a game, although Coach is a little bit more sarcastic than that when he does it. As Gaspard pulls in the rebound, St. Mary's will push. Kobe McGee sees 2 people and says, no thanks. Reset back out, back to a double-digit advantage. Rattlers are 4 of 11 from the perimeter, by the way. 44% from the field as McGee nearly slipped and fell, almost went out of bounds. 3-pointer from Jaron is off. Another rebound to John Mouton. He'll push it up court. Good stutter step down the lane. Drives in and has some contact. Kobe McGee fading out of bounds, gets it back. And a lot of one and done at either end as St. Mary's with a poor pass and decision right there. And then one thing leads from bad to worse. Jaron Presley fouls. And that'll be a timeout on the court because of that. 2:27 to play. Final media timeout of this first half. Rattlers in control. They lead it by 11. We're back after this 60-second timeout on the Lone Star Conference Network. 2:27 to play here in this first half. Free throws for Texas A&M Kingsville. It's a 1-and-1 situation right here. Trying to get something at the line for Trey Flowers. Rattlers have led by double figures most of this game, as the free throw from Flowers is good. He's got a team high 8 points. You know, we talked about it at the beginning. You know, with the offense for this Kingsville group, they've got some talent. The more of their strength is in the post, but Flowers and Thomas are the guys outside. And Thomas has played 11 minutes, hasn't scored. He's only taken 2 shots. Hasn't really gotten involved yet. As Flowers, meanwhile, struggled on Thursday. He only had 4 points. He is well past that here today. He's got 9. 9-point game, by the way, with 2:20 to play. Fans, don't forget, join us at halftime. Jason Martins is going to join us. I'm sure he's going to be excited to talk about his 250th career victory. It was an overtime victory today. His team made up a 13-point deficit, did not lead until overtime with 2.5 left, and when they finally got the lead, they did not relinquish it, able to hang on late. McGee's got 5 to shoot. Got to make a decision. To his left, 2-1, pull-up 3 is up, and oh, look at Kobe rattle that one in. That's 8 for Kobe McGee, his second triple of the night. That gives him 82 career three-pointers, 31st here at St. Mary's. All around with Creighton Avery. Again, right now for St. Mary's, they continue to take away everything inside of 15 feet. Not much there. That's a big reason for their surge in 3 straight victories. As we get a foul and 3-second call on the Javelinas. That's Daniel Severo, the 6'7" Brazilian, who was trying to work on Matei, and he'd run into Matei, he'd run into Dylan, he'd get bounced off and turned back in by Marquise Houston, and sometimes you just get trapped down there. Rattlers are doing a good job with that as the Javelinas put some pressure on the basketball. Kobe McGee bumped anyway, throws up the shot, it's no good. Gaspard missed the rebound. Kobe chased it down, and he hurls the ball back to midcourt where Marquise Houston will reset the possession. Tell you what, again, you just continue to watch Kobe McGee each game. You know, in December, he was a little bit timid. January, he's turned it up a whole nother notch, and he's shown why he was a Division I player to start his career. Gaspard, nice spin move to his right, but too many steps, lost the ball out of bounds. It's a turnover regardless how you want to call it. Matei will give that one up. That's his second giveaway of the game, 5 total for the Rattlers. But his minutes, again, they're up. Kirtland Wesley in foul trouble. Kurt has got only 2 minutes in this game, but picked up 1 foul that didn't look like it was him. And then the second, just a good job by the Javelinas coming right at him. And that's been the one knock on him. He just hasn't been able to get enough minutes out there for his team. 1 minute to play here in this first half. St. Mary's by 12. They've led by that many twice as Houston steals the ball away. Numbers game for the Rattlers as Houston takes it all the way down court. Shot is up, and a foul is called blocking foul. Trey Flowers tried to get back and take the charge, but he slid into that half circle underneath. Also wasn't set, by the way. Both officials kind of looked at one another, and it's always good when the two agree. I know these guys, you watch AJ and Andre, they've worked together a lot, so they don't tend to step on each other too much. As Houston's free throw is no good. Marquise, just his 4th free throw attempt in now the last 7 games. He did make both of them on Thursday, but you know, there's some guys that you look at, especially when that 3-point shot is not falling for Z's group, that you want to see more free throws. If you can't hit it, get to the line. You know, I'm sure we're going to talk about that with Coach Martins. His team did that very well in the 4th quarter. Bella Hughes obviously making several big ones down the stretch, but after the ball didn't go in much in that first half, found a way to get to the foul line. Trey Flowers, contested 3 is good. That's a good job by Flowers. He's got 12 in this game. Presley, pretty good defense in front of him. 10-point game right here. Final 30 seconds. There's a 1.5-second differential between the game clock and shot clock, but Rattler's going to try to push for one right here. McGee working one-on-one with Chauncey Thomas. Kobe being patient. Team's leading scorer with 8. Rattlers have made 5 of their last 7. Good job working up a wide open shot. Marquise missed it. Presley missed it too. Inside the lane. Javelinas get away with it. Thomas at the other end. One more pass as the time expires. And the shot is good. Rayshawn Thomas just able to get his first bucket of the game. Maybe that gets him going. Great job by Chauncey Thomas, who pushed it. No relation, by the way, between those two players, but Thomas comes up with the assist. Halftime from Bill Greehey Arena. We take a 2-minute timeout. When we come back, we'll talk with Jason Martins. His team victorious earlier. We'll talk with him Right now, though, it is halftime. 33-25, Rattlers leading it. Back after this quick timeout on the Lone Star Conference Network. Hey, we welcome you back to Bill Greehey Arena. It is halftime of the men's game. The Rattlers lead at 33-25. Andrew Stossmeister back, and I'm privileged to welcome back in Coach Jason Martins. Coach, congratulations. That was, I'm sure, not the easiest win of your career, but to get to 250, congrats on that accomplishment.
Well, thanks. Yeah, I'm proud of the girls. I mean, they never gave up. They kept on fighting, and, fourth quarter we played desperation basketball and found a way to win. I mean, you don't take the lead until overtime. You don't tie it up till 1 second left to go in the game. I mean, that's just a lot of fight amongst the team, and they did it.
It's one thing to climb the mountain. It's another thing to get over it. And I think, this game I thought reminded me a lot of Arkansas Fort Smith, but I talked about it during the broadcast of, hey, I hope it's a different result, because you could see that players were trying to step up and fight. And it's hard when you fall down 16-2 and really kind of have enough to say, hey, we got to get this thing turned around.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out how we did it. I mean, because we just did not play very good basketball, and Kingsville played very good. I mean, they were hitting shots left and right, hitting some tough shots. Sometimes when we were defending it really well, they would hit shots, and so for us to come out victorious, obviously a true testament to some of our players who had made some big shots down the stretch.
Well, we talked about it. We had Bella Hughes on right after the game. Obviously, she had some big offensive moments, but with her going for her career high, I do want to talk about that. But I thought, to me, it really seemed like things started to change when you got a couple of offensive rebounds. Hannah Wilson got a few going. Her points caught up to her. She ends up having her fourth double-double of the season. But it seemed like as the older veteran player, she said, hey, we're not going to lose this. We're going to stay in it. And everybody kind of followed after that.
Yeah, I mean, Hannah did a great job tonight. Obviously 14 rebounds, 17 points. I mean, that's a junior stepping up, and she's done a great job on the boards here, moving in conference play, and Jess had some big offensive boards there. Just they were relentless. They've been relentless, for the past month, and I didn't see that first half. I didn't see that maybe in the third quarter, but the fourth quarter they said, we're going to find a way, and they did.
Yeah, and things kind of, it seemed like, like you said, the end of the third quarter, the start of that fourth quarter, they said, we're going to figure it out. It's taken us a while. You could tell they were kind of trying to go through the steps to get there, but Barbosa, like you said, made a couple of big plays down the stretch, and, obviously, before those free throws happen at the end with Bella, Lex makes a huge three that's, from distance right in front of your bench that really gets everybody excited.
No, exactly. I mean, I'm sitting there watching it. It's we did a one more pass right to her. She's wide open. Again, it's a deep three. I mean, it's 3-4 feet behind the line, and she buried it. And, I watched her yesterday after practice. She got a bunch of shots up in the gym, and, it's great that some of her hard work is paying off. She wasn't known as a big three-point shooter coming into this season, and, for her to step up, hit that shot was huge. I thought she was great defensively, especially in the fourth quarter, just picking up the pressure. I mean, I don't know if she has any legs left or not left, but, I mean, she willed us to a win today, and extremely proud of her.
Yeah, veterans did a good job down the stretch, but most importantly, it means, okay, you got 5 in a row. Things, like you said, they're starting to click, knowing that you got probably the hardest road trip of the season coming up.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you're going into Lubbock, who is just extremely talented, very good at home, so that's going to be a tough ball game, and then, you get through that game, and then you follow up with Angelo State, who is, and then, was a Sweet 16 team last year, and very talented as well, and so just back-to-back battles on the road that we're going to have to get ready for, and it feels good to come off of 2 home wins, which we struggled at home this year, so now we can go on the road, which we actually played better on, and maybe we can get a couple W's there.
Yeah, certainly big ones indeed. Looking forward to it this week. Coach, congrats again on the 250th win.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
Jason Martins kind enough to join us here in between games. Men's game, 33-25. Women win earlier in overtime, 64-62. We're back after this timeout here on the Lone Star Conference Network. Welcome back to Bill Green Arena. It is 33-25. Andrew Stossmeister back on behalf of our crew. Glad to have everybody with us here today. Appreciate Coach Martins just talking about what's new in the league. There's always something to talk about with those guys. It's always a lot of fun. And big congrats to him. He's got 250 victories. That's something that hasn't happened a whole lot here. The guy's name that's on the floor is the other guy that has that, I believe. Of course, we start talking about other sports. I mean, Donna Fields, of course, with softball, I feel has won that, tons and tons. Charlie Meagle in baseball has won tons and tons. But, to join that group, he felt really honored. He said it's pretty cool. And I felt bad because I felt like I might have jinxed him before the game. I did mention that to him. He's like, oh, really? Shoot. And it looked like his team played a little tight, but he's pretty pleased that to get a victory and then try to put it together. So that being said, we're getting ready to go for half number 2. Rattlers have controlled this first half. The good news is they are 9-1 when leading at halftime. They hadn't won a game when they've trailed. On the other side, Kingsville, this is the 9th time they've trailed at halftime this season. Guess how many times they've won? 5 of them. So they know how to handle this scenario pretty well. They've played pretty darn well at halftime. Rattlers leading it 33-25. Elsewhere around the conference, final scores first off with the women. St. Ed's beat International. Midwestern at Cameron won. Angelo at Eastern won. Western at Tarleton won. And Texas women won earlier today at at home against Texas Permian Basin. On the men's side, how about UTPB? They beat DBU today 83-78. St. Ed's has beaten International. Other games at halftime, Cameron hosting Midwestern State. How about Midwestern State, man? They're upset, man. They're up 18 at halftime. Commerce leads Oklahoma Christian. Tyler trails Fort Smith at halftime. West Tex leads Lubbock at home big here today. We'll try to get some more of the scoreboard as we can, but as you can see, we are back in underway here in the second half. Trey Flowers brings the ball back around over there to Severo. Out there on deck with Phillips. Nice high lob underneath to Will Shayer, who is blocked by Lamont Traylor, but as Lamont lands, he fouls. All their starter, John Mouton, is out there. Rattlers start this second half with Kobe McGee, along with Lamont Traylor, Caleb Jordan, Marquise Houston, and Matei Gaspert. Keep an eye on a couple of guys out there with some foul issues. Kirtland Wesley, who didn't get a chance to play a whole lot in that first half, he's ready to go. He'll get a chance to come in here shortly as that feed underneath is good. Could have been an and one. Daniel Severo scores. And for him, that is his first bucket of the game. He does have 3 points, hit a free throw earlier on. Rattlers, again, have controlled this game. They give them that 3, remember, right before the break. That's why it's a 6-point game. I mean, St. Mary's has really led double figures most of this contest so far as Caleb Jordan gathers it back in, attacking in the half court to the right. Rattlers averaging 76. They haven't reached that at home yet in a league game. Matei Gaspert, 3? Nope, not that time. Couldn't quite pull it in. John Mouton has a team best 6 rebounds. Now for the Javelinas, who, again, offensively in that first half struggled. Did not shoot the ball particularly well, just 8 of 20. Got back in, though, getting that late 3 really helped give some life to them. Their leading scorers have struggled as that shot is up and a foul is called on St. Mary's. Talked about Rashawn Thomas, 14 points a game. Thomas didn't have anything going until he got that late life shot at the end. And by the way, I do beg your pardon, it was ruled a 2. They reviewed that at halftime. That was one of the things that Andre Crawford came over and told me at halftime. But Trey Flowers, the other guy, Trey's got his average already at 12. As that free throw is good from Chauncey Thomas. Chauncey Thomas with his first point of the game as Lamont Traylor goes out. Kirtland Wesley in quickly here in the first 77 seconds. Second toss is up and good. Kingsville, again, a really good second half team. That's when their defense has really paid dividends. Rattlers fortunate to build their lead, but now the question becomes, can they keep it going? Caleb Jordan trying to orchestrate traffic, gives the ball off to Kirtland. Hand off to Marquise. Good stutter step down the lane. The big fella leans in as he changes hands midair right to left and is fouled. He'll head to the line for 2 shots. Foul is called on Daniel Severo. That's great athleticism. We've seen that from Marquise time and time again. An undersized player that can jump out of the gym. Another talent from Houston. As the free throw is up, and he left it a little bit short. Marquise is 1 of 3 from the stripe here tonight. Marquise 2 weeks ago, and the last home game that was a loss went for 23. He played at 14 games a year ago. Averaged 14, was not eligible for the second semester, so he's getting that look here in league play, and he's having fun. 1 for 2 at that free throw line, 5-point game. First couple of minutes of the second half. Good pass out to Mouton. Inside the lane, working on Gasper. Wesley on the block, and Kirtland is asking for how is that a foul, and Kirtland came over. He got a lot of the basketball. I'm kind of with him. I didn't really see it, but I didn't see the follow-through either as well. Kirtland's kind of going, hey, man, I just want to play some. Inbounds left of the hoop for the Javelinas. Contact as Marquise goes down, and he is in a lot of pain. Landed awkwardly on his knee. Not feeling good as, again, he's looking at his leg as to where things are at, but that's the part of the leg that Marquise has really been hurting since December. And they're trying to pull him up. Matej just said, hey, buddy, I got you. And now they're looking on to see if they can get 4 back to the bench. And they're kind of looking at it. Marquise is going, hey, man, where's my foul? Just got knocked over. There's a lot of contact, man. It's been tough go inside the lane as Zio come over and make sure he's okay. Going to see if he's all right. Bubba's going to go try and check, and Marquise is more just mad that he just got bumped into. He's got that right leg pretty heavily taped up. He's got the compression pants on underneath it, so you can't really see that. But officials right now are discussing quite a little bit. And I think Z is trying to make his case saying, hey, come on. Come on, you got to check on this. But with 2 minutes in, no decision has been made, at least in that respect right now. Hey, fans, stop by one of the 5 conveniently located Jason's Deli restaurants for a fresh, affordable meal anytime. Don't forget about free ice cream. Jason's Deli is happy to fulfill any and all catering needs. Jason's Deli, the official sandwich of St. Mary's Athletics. Officials have some to deal with. I don't know exactly, again, where things are at. And I think you got it's interesting because Coach Z is trying to help his player. I think there was contact on Marquise. I don't know if it was worthy enough of a foul. They're going to go to the monitor and review it. But Johnny Estella's going, we just stopped play, and I'm not okay with that. And I think he at least has an explanation he's willing to deal with as he goes and talks to his team. But Marquise is, the good news is Marquise hasn't sat down yet. He's still trying to stretch out and work on that right side somewhere. I don't know if he is yet to be okay with anything, but he's hanging in there. Officials are looking at that monitor. A lot to go ahead and check out. While we have a moment, let's go ahead and run down the remainder of those scores that are finals. Texas A&M Commerce on the women's side, 191-64 today over Oklahoma Christian. West Texas A&M over Lubbock Christian. They win that game by 8, and is where it finished out to be. And Coach Martin and I were talking about that. Lubbock Christian is the next team up for St. Mary's. That game is in Lubbock, where not many people win ever. So that's kind of an interesting deal. Other scores on the men's side that we did not mention. Tarleton and Western New Mexico are playing. It's a 54-48 lead for the Texans right now. Got 16 minutes to play. So they're still reviewing on the monitor as to what they would like to be able to see. But Andre Crawford, A.J. Lauterbach, and Landon Kamek over there to discuss exactly what they saw. And this is an important moment because this is up to Landon right here. Landon's the youngest of the 3 officials. He had a big call, and he was over there, and he's the one that signaled, hey, wait a second. And you can see it right there. Try to get everything pointed out. But there is some stuff to at least be explained at the moment. Marquise, in the meantime, again, still stretching it out, still walking. Still looks okay. Looks like they are going to make their decision, perhaps. 2 minutes into the second half, it looks like. Let's see if our man Mark Thomas on the other side can debunk what just happened. Still waiting on. Again, Marquise looks like he went out, but I think he's still going to stay in there. But I think Marquise is saying, hey, whatever. I think they So, oh jeez. So completely away from the ball, and maybe it was Kirtland who's kind of going after it. Kirtland gets called for a tech, is what they check, who pushed somebody down inside the lane. Kirtland was the guy that came out first in the deal on Thursday, and that's Kirtland trying to go to battle for one of his guys, but doesn't work out. Just Trey Flowers at the line, missed the first. He gets one more. Flowers an 81% free throw shooter. He's one of the best in the conference, but it's 2 shots and one more. Tell you, that was one of the quietest technical fouls I think you've ever seen called. Most officials pretty good about it. I think they reviewed that to see if Kirtland did do something. He did, so he's on the bench with 4 fouls in 3 minutes. Did get 1 shot off and does have a rebound, but it's a tough go for him here today. Marquise Houston is stretching out. Is he going to come in? They're going to get that the shot clock all put back together as official discussing what was up. And now I think, again, the man who's holding that shot clock just wanted the explanation about it. Okay, 2 minutes to go. Here, we're 2 minutes into this second half. I think we're going to play some ball. Right side, Flowers catches and shoots and scores. Look at that. Turn it into a 4-point play following that technical foul. It's a 1-point game suddenly. There's been 1 lead change in this game. No ties. Jaron Presley with it for the Rattlers has subbed in. Joining that starting group, taking the place of Lamont Traylor, who's on the bench, talking over there with Kirtland, who's on the bench. Jaron with it, 10 to shoot. Working on Flowers, back to Gaspert. Matei looking on. Emmanuel Awuzie is out there as well. 3-2. Jordan inside the body, leans, is patient, and finishes. Great confidence in the game right there of number 1, Caleb Jordan. Those are the kind of plays that help make you Offensive Player of the Week in the Lone Star Conference, like Caleb was this week. Drive down the lane, and Flowers, nobody gets in his way. He's got 18 points. Trey Flowers, career high. If you're keeping track, it's 31. He hit 9 threes in a game earlier this season, but he's talented, man. He can play. I remember seeing him. I got a chance to watch him when he was at Seward Community College. Real good. Kobe McGee holding it for St. Mary's. Rattlers trying to just get back to the game flow right now. But it's a nice little spurt here for Kingsville. Hit 3 straight. Presley inside the lane. Fouled. John Moton gets called for that foul, and Johnny Estelle, the head coach, not happy in his 6th year over there on the bench. We talked about it, man. The Kingsville Javelina is 12-4. They are talented. You can see it. They haven't played real great. Really didn't play too well in the first 20 minutes, but they're starting to pick it up a little bit. Presley will go out. Houston is back in. 20 on the shot clock. Reset. Again, that's the new rule inserted as Marquise tries to jump. He hits the shot anyway, but Marquise came up and didn't get very far off the ground as he hit that shot. 3-point lead for St. Mary's. They have not trailed since it was 2-0. They hit a 3 and they haven't looked back. Flowers works it down low underneath the Severo, throws it back up wide. Shayer dropped it back out to Flowers. Creates some separation from the NCAA logo. Pull up 2, missed it. Rebound inside the lane. Offensive board put back by Shayer. No good. Foul. Rattlers push from behind. Is positioning one by the 6'8" sophomore of Corpus. It's a good job inside the lane. Matei Gaspert picks up his 2nd personal foul. That's team foul number 5 as it becomes. Again, he got a couple of fouls that were been assessed already on Kirtland in the second half, but it's you get up there quickly with that technical foul. As Eisenhower subs in, Gaspert will go out. Matei's got 2 personal, and Gaspert's now got, Matei's got 2, and Lamont is on the bench right now with 3. He picked up an early one to start this second half as well. I mean, those are your big guys getting in foul trouble, and it puts a lot of pressure typically on guys like Houston, who's a guard, who they'll slide down to the 4, and then freshman Emmanuel Awuzie has to really come in and play some big minutes. Kobe McGee will drop it off. Emmanuel catches and runs into his own guy, Marquise. Again, Rattlers out of sorts here in the first 4 minutes of the second half. Eisenhower trying to be patient, throws it away. Turnover number 6. St. Mary's averages 14 per basketball game. Shayer sets the screen to Flowers. Flowers this time guarded by Awuzie. They throw it underneath. Shayer lays it up and in with the left hand. That's a good play by the sophomore who started 17 times a year ago. Averaged 5 points and 4 rebounds. And that's the thing, talking with Johnny Estelle and his assistant just a little bit, is that, hey, they do a really good job of being patient, finding a way to get it through. We'll see they use this as the media timeout. We might stay here this time. I think we'll stay here and we'll take the break at media, but just because of that, Kingsville has their first lead of the game. 39-38. Rattlers led by as many as 13. Erased on a technical foul to begin this second half. Today's game is brought to you by Star Shuttle and Charter, the exclusive transportation provider of St. Mary's Athletics. Star Shuttle and Charter, they go the distance for you. On behalf of our entire crew, I'm Andrew Stossmeister in San Antonio this afternoon for this league tilt between Texas A&M Kingsville and the St. Mary's Rattlers. Rattlers are 9-8, 5-5 in league play. Javelina's off a loss on Thursday to 6th-ranked St. Ed's. They're 12-4, 8-2 in conference play. The other team they lost to was Dallas Baptist, who last checked was ranked inside the top 15. You know, it's interesting, I think, continuing to talk to people about Lone Star Conference and the way they have played, you know, now joining forces, if you will, with the Heartland. You know, the top teams, especially on the basketball side. Basketball, baseball, softball, I think were the most talent when just kind of talking to most coaches. You know, it's not to say other sports were not. Obviously, you know, we had Rob Coleman on, the athletic director here at St. Mary's. He's excited about his golf program, nationally ranked. But, you know, those are the teams expected to compete and have some success in this league, already going in against some other really, really good teams. But, you know, you look at this Javelina group for Kingsville, probably the best that Johnny Estelle's group has had, and this is, again, an NCAA team a few years ago. After the Rattlers timeout, it will be St. Mary's basketball, and I think they're going to go ahead and start it up. Looks like they are thinking about it. Looks like they will. A little late. They're trying to get that last play drawn up. But it looks like it will occur. Rattlers have the basketball. 2 of 3 to start this second half, but has committed 5 fouls. Throw it to Kobe McGee in that backcourt. McGee, Eisenhower, Houston, Awuzie, and Caleb Jordan. Jordan's got 2 fouls, too. Keep that in mind. His minutes were limited in that first half as he leans in. There's contact on the shot. It is up. No good. Caleb got poked in the eye, but he will shoot a pair of free throws, it looks like. And now I think they're going to take that immediate timeout. They will. 15-20 to play in the second half. Rattlers are down 1. 2 free throws for Caleb Jordan when we come back. We're back after the 60-second timeout on the Lone Star Conference Network. $15-20 to play. We're in the second half. Caleb Jordan shooting 2 free throws. Misses the front end. The leader in the conference at the free throw line. We'll have one more. Jordan's got 2 points. Kind of an odd start to the second half. Again, Rattlers just trying to get their feet underneath them. Had a collision at one end resulted in a technical foul. They assessed 2 fouls, and things kind of have not really gotten set, quite honestly, for either team. But give a lot of credit. Trey Flowers has hit a couple of big shots. He's got a game best 18. He has got Kingsville back up to at least even. They had their first lead in almost 25 minutes. That ball is turned over. Eisenhower takes over. Turnover number 10 on Johnny Estelle's Javelinas. Tied up at 39. Kind of pace that Kingsville likes to play. Jordan with it, attacking half court right. Eisenhower being patient, finds Houston. Deep three-pointer is up, and a foul is called. But I think it was away from the shot. Marquise missed it. But it'll be a foul inside on somebody else, so they'll reset the shot clock. Foul is on Kingsville. Tell you what, John Estelle over there might want to pull him back a little bit. He's getting frustrated at the officials. He was letting him know in that last timeout. Foul was given to Will Shayer. Another 3 by Houston. He missed that one, but he tries to save it in. Good hands and good length by Will Shayer, who's got it for the Javelinas and pushing the court for fast break points. Oh, man. Good job getting out. That's 8 of them now for Kingsville. The lead back 41-39. Again, not much flow, like I said, in this second half. A lot more individual effort as McGee is blocked. Oh, man. Good play by Daniel Severo. 7th block of the year. Down court quickly. Thomas elevates and hits 2 more. Kingsville has hit 5 of their last 6 shots. Rattlers haven't scored in 2.5 minutes. Largest deficit of the game for St. Mary's, 4 points. Emmanuel Awuzie holding on to it. This is that worry that Coach Z was worried about coming in. As Dylan Eisenhower scores, Jordan another assist. That's his 3rd of the game. But you go back to it if you're Coach Z, again, worrying about, you had a little bit of a lull on Thursday. It didn't cost you. You won by 20 plus, 24 to be exact. But these are the games that you can't do that in. You're playing too good of an opponent. Inside the lane, Lev is good. Daniel Severo's got 5. Lead back to 4 for Kingsville. St. Mary's led at halftime by 8. Should have been double digits, but Rattlers didn't do a good job on the final possession. And gave up a 2 is what it became. But it just seemed to really kind of fuel the Javelinas throughout this afternoon start. Really, after a team that was shooting below 30% is now up into the 50s. Marquise Houston with it for the Rattlers. Trying to, again, get some flow. Rattlers are 3 of 6 shooting. They're shooting the ball okay. It's not like they're having problems right there. It's just, again, getting into that rhythm. 9 to shoot for McGee. Down the lane, deflected, out of bounds. With 6 on the shot clock. Rashawn Thomas the last to touch it. Rashawn Thomas still pretty quiet with 4 points. It's the team's leading scorer on Thursday. McGee gets it in. Houston catches right wing deep. He's off a little bit. Marquis still just, as he jumps, doesn't look quite right. That leg is bothering him. He's playing through it right now. Thomas patiently will get it back up top. Creighton Avery with it right now. He's got a screen as he runs towards his own bench. Johnny is still trying to give instructions, wants to see that ball moved around. Three-pointer is up, and that one is good. Rashawn Thomas with his 42nd triple. You know he's going to get going. I mean, he's too talented, and I love what Coach Estelle does with him. Brings him off the bench and says, it's fine. Kingsville with another sharp run. They have outscored St. Mary's 23-8 in this second half. 12:36 to play. A timeout is taken by the St. Mary's Rattlers. Hey fans, taking a look ahead on the Rattler Network. St. Mary's will go on the road on Thursday. They'll head to Lubbock Christian. Saturday at Angelo State. Men and women will play both days as they hit the road, honestly, for probably one of their hardest road trips, certainly for the women. Men, though, it's not an easy task at hand either, trying to pick up a couple of road wins. Both teams have played very well. St. Mary's, the men 5-1 away from home. The women pretty good as well. They are 5-2 in games not in this building, so they've had a lot of success as well. Coach Z trying to burn a timeout, slow up the momentum shift. Well, it clearly has been. It's 8 in a row right now to Texas A&M Kingsville. Got their large lead of the game, 7 points. Remember, they were down 10 points at one point, as many as 13. It's a big shift. McGee and Jordan trying to work the ball side to side. Colby holding on to it. Surveying as he gets a screen from Eisenhower. Three-pointer by Marquise, no good. Rebound inside to Shayer. Marquise now 2 of 6 from three-point land. He averages 3 makes a game coming in from the arc. That's second best in the Lone Star Conference. Well, sometimes you could, again, since that injury, since he went down with 2 minutes into the second half, has not made a shot since then. Thomas this time, better guard. Up top, Avery gives it back out. Rashawn Thomas, three-pointer is good. Rashawn Thomas has hit his last 2. He's got 10. The lead is a 12-2 run right now. 10-point advantage for Kingsville. Starting to get going offensively again. 9 of 11 shooting the ball in the second half. That's pretty darn good. Again, a team that was in the 30s most of the first half. Caleb Jordan trying to answer. He does. Caleb's second field goal of the game. Caleb's got 32 made threes now. Brings it back to a 7-point game. Rattlers got to get that offense going. They are 4 of 9 shooting here in the second half. But again, even if you can't get those fast break points, St. Mary's outscored in the fast break 10-2. Rashawn Thomas back up top. Working it with Avery. 9 minutes into the second half. That shot is blocked. Awuzie got a piece of it out of bounds. Good job by Emmanuel. Pair of blocks on Thursday. He's now got 16 for the season. And that'll take us to a media timeout. 10:56 to play in this second half. 51-44. Kingsville leading St. Mary's. We're back after the 60-second break on the Lone Star Conference Network. .56 to play here in half number 2. The Rattlers' 8-point halftime advantage has been taken backwards. Find themselves on the wrong end of a 12-2 run. Inbounds, Rashawn Thomas misses the 3. Rebound, Caleb Jordan. Chance to try to push. Extra pass down court. Colby McGee laid it up. He missed the shot. And Rashawn Thomas has the board for the Javelinas, wearing the royal blues with the gold and white trim. Rattlers tried to push it with their 2 guards, but again, that's their length that is a little bit harder to match up with. When you look at the Javelinas, got some forwards, but you got some longer guards out there that are a little bit harder, that run pretty well. That time, McGee just off balance just enough as he missed at the other end. Kingsville, again, the kind of game they want to play. They're not going to outscore you a ton on purpose. As that 3 is an air ball, that's a shot clock violation. And the Rattlers will get a stop. We talked about it with Kingsville. When they score more than 70, they have lost 1 time. They're 8-1. Score less, 4-2 this season. Javelinas lost on Thursday, 73-64 at St. Ed's. Had a 2-point lead with 4.5 minutes to go, but gave up an 11-0 run over the last 4.5 minutes. As Houston is fouled, team foul number 6. But, you know, this is a team that I'm sure they're frustrated with Thursday, how it didn't go their way. Trying to get St. Ed's and handling just their second loss overall in the year. St. Ed's playing, once again, very, very good basketball. Everybody back from last year. I think they lost 2 seniors, and not one of them was a regular starter. Halfway through the second half here in San Antonio, 51-44. Jordan back up, Dylan Eisenhower. Good separation, but the official says it was traveling. And the Rattlers will give it up. Again, trying to pick up 2 big victories. We talked a lot about it on Thursday. If they could get to 6 league wins, how big would that be for them? in a division right now that has Tarleton, who's 9-7, equal record. I mean, it's given that same problem. Just makes it all the more different. Kingsville basketball right now. Trying to work on it with Creighton Avery. Seen a lot of that defense. Again, it's still pretty good, but perimeter shots are starting to fall outside. Another triple. That time Shayer hits it. That's his 7th of the year. And, I mean, how about that? You go from a team that in that first half couldn't buy one, 4 of 6 from the perimeter in the first 11 minutes and almost now. And they're 10 of 15 as we get a reach-in foul. Houston was losing the ball, but Deontay McClellan overplayed it just a little bit, picking up that foul. What a way this thing is going. Marquise at the line. That's team foul number 7. I do beg your pardon. The Rattlers got him as 9-7. They're 9-8, I believe. Had one thing that was kind of back and forth. 5-5 in league play. Marquise Houston makes one, gets the bonus because of it. Second toss is good. Makes it an 8-point game once again. Rattlers controlled this game, double digits most of the first half. Gave up a couple buckets at the end as that shot is up. Layup is true. Deontay McClellan scores again. McClellan starting to find his rhythm in this game. That's his second field goal. 10-point game. As Coach Z looks on, we talked about it. He has not had the kind of success he'd prefer. As that three-pointer is good by Caleb Jordan. Second is in his many trips for him. Back to a 7-point game. Rattlers, as we talked about in that first half, the offense pretty good. Haven't been able to keep it up in the second half, and defensively that time just got beaten. Again, you're looking at it. Wesley's on the bench. And Lamont Traylor has been in foul trouble. Gaspert's on the bench. Three-pointer is up and good again. Look at that. Rattlers finding another one from Caleb Jordan. He's got 12. Heat check for him. He's hit his last 3 triples. 58-52. Keeps it at 6. Just trying to get that feeling, and we get an offensive foul on Rashawn Thomas. Thomas is going, I thought that was a flop. Jordan, I think, was getting knocked off his feet. That's a good job by Caleb to stay with that. And we reach another media timeout. 8:09 to play. We're in the second half. Take a 60-second timeout. 58-52. Kingsville leading it, but the Rattlers charging. We're back with more next year on the Lone Star Conference Network. To play here in the second half. Rattlers are down 58-52. St. Mary's basketball out of the timeout. Matei Gaspert re-enters. Marquise Houston, Caleb Jordan, along with Dylan Eisenhower and Kobe McGee. The Rattlers following up an 8-0 run by the Javelinas, have taken 8 of the last 12. Trying to get back into this after a lead that is decimated as Dylan Eisenhower scores. Good way to come out of the timeout. It's a good job by Dylan, who's got now 7 in this game. 58-54 in a game that, holds like it's kind of looked like St. Mary's was well in control, and then Kingsville looked like they had opened it up as Rashawn Thomas scores again. Thomas has made 5 of his 7 shots, all 4 in the second half, by the way. But it's just one of those things that it's how is St. Mary's going to overcome? Are they going to get more offense? They're going to get some stops. Caleb Jordan for 3 as Cody's hit 4 in a row. Johnny Estelle throws the card in front of him. He can't believe it. 3-point game. Jordan with 15 now, matching his total from Thursday night. On the left side, John Moton with it. Off to the edge, looking for some space is Avery. Back to Mouton, inside the lane. Hooks it back around. Shayer for 3, short. Rebound, and that's pulled in and into the chest of Matei Gaspard. And Coach Z is not happy. Matei didn't see that ball coming right back at him as he is going to come out. Emmanuel Awuzie is going to come out. And Coach Z's just saying, why didn't you grab the ball? Playing simple, and then, I think Matei knows, sometimes a player, it's good for them to be, that moment where they kind of get it. I got hit with the basketball pretty good in the chest. That doesn't feel good. If you haven't ever felt that before, a player that's falling out of bounds, just throwing it as hard as they can at you to make sure it goes off of you. It doesn't feel good. Caleb Jordan just got it in the feet. Caleb a little bit more athleticism than Matei, and again, that's what Bubba Myers just saying over there on the bench. Got to grab the basketball. There's a lot of guys that are just trying to, get out of the way and let it go out. You don't do that in this game. It doesn't work out very well for you unless the ball is trailing away, usually to an opposite corner. That's the only time it gets out of bounds. Give credit to Kingsville. They've been smart the last couple of times. Layup try is no good. Offensive foul. Eisenhower was right there. He just got hit in the chin. And A.J. Lauderback, who just made that call, just looked over, and he was in a really good position to see that. There's, you don't really argue with someone like that who's pretty well set, sees the play come to them. You'd be mad about the call if you're a Kingsville fan, but to me, at least, I think that's been pretty consistent. The difference is St. Mary's, I think, has been called for has picked up 4 charges. On the other side, only 1 for the Javelinas. So, just that equal distribution thing. That's where some folks are unhappy. 6:27 to play. It's a 3-point game. The Rattlers have clawed. Caleb Jordan's been a big reason for that. He's hit 4 threes here in the second half. Eisenhower down the lane, feels his way out, scoops it across. I think Eisenhower stepped out of bounds. Turnover, St. Mary's. That is their 8th, third of the second half. Fans, keep up with all your favorite Rattler teams. Follow them on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. You can find them at St. Mary's Rattlers or search St. Mary's Rattlers for the latest in the world of Rattler athletics. St. Mary's will employ the full court press. Javelinas beat it into the front court. Rashawn Thomas left wide open. That can't be part of the plan. Rashawn Thomas has been equally as impressive. He's 3 of 4 from downtown. He's got 15 in the game now. Thomas had 2 points until the final shot of the first half. Eisenhower drives, leans inside, gave it off to Awuzie, bounces right back to Dillon, who goes up strong. He missed the second chance. Awuzie wrestles the rebound and is fouled over his left shoulder by the Javelinas, and will go to the line for 2 shots because it is the 10th team foul on Kingsville. That's on John Mouton, who will pick up his 4th personal foul. Awuzie at the free throw line. He missed it. There's 10 free throws, and Bubba Myers looking up there going, why was that only 1 and 1? That was not right. They either got to check this, and Bubba Myers going over there and asking about what just happened. There's supposed to be a 2-shot foul. Holy cow. And that's a real problem. That's 10 team fouls. I think the officials never signaled it, but at the same time as things go on, here's the problem that you deal with, is that the officials never got together, and at the same time the table never buzzed. At the table you have to buzz. That's tough. A, that's never supposed to happen. B, if you're St. Mary's, that's never supposed to happen on your home court. 63-57 is our score with 5:31 to play. And I believe the way that they will rule this is that Yes, the officials didn't get it right, but the people on the table didn't get it right either, and it becomes their issue. You don't go back and, I think, reshoot, or do you? Holy cow. 5:31 to play, and Coach Z and Bubba Meyer were both over there going, what's up? Some of the fans for Kingsville getting a little bit restless. And you get, I mean, you can see both points. And maybe, what are they going to do? So they're just going to shoot an untimed free throw. Manuel missed it, so they'll go back to that possession is how they stopped it. Because that's, I think that's how the officials do that. I believe that's actually the way it's supposed to be done. But that should never happen if you have a good table crew. And it's not like those guys don't work hard. They do a good job here. But that's one of those situations that can be avoided. Let's put it that way. 5:27 to play. 2 free throws coming for the Javelinas in what has been a real tight game. We knew it would be that coming in. Rattlers 9-7. Kingsville is 12-4. Javelinas have not lost back-to-back games this season. Their 3 losses are all away from home with their perfect 8-0. Well, they lost on Thursday as Thomas left that one short. He's 9 for his last 11 and 15 for his last 17. 6-point game. Second toss for Chauncey Thomas is good. He's got 5 points. Flowers, the leading scorer, with 18. Rashawn Thomas off the bench has 15. Right at his average. Rattlers have 4 threes in the second half from Caleb Jordan after falling behind by 10. As Caleb drives, knocked to the deck. The shot is good. And Caleb was going, where's my foul? That time he got it. His shot was good. Caleb Jordan for 17 and 1 more. And tell you what, Caleb, I thought, really had probably one of the worst halves of his career on Thursday. Caleb doesn't play the way that he did, especially shooting the ball. Bounce back at 4 in a row, and that is carried over. He hasn't really looked to shoot much. Kobe's been more of the shooter today. But in the second half, when his team has needed it, he's had it. Look out, numbers game at the other end. Awuzie back there trying to guard 1-on-2. He's not going to win that. Rashawn Thomas, good move to his right to score. 6-point game with 5 minutes to play. Caleb Jordan bumped, gives the ball back out to Marquise Houston. Marquise, step back 3, straight on, still off. Marquise, since that injury, has missed all 6 shots. Kingsville takes over. Marquise is trying to grind, but you start kind of looking, who can you go in with? Is Dylan Eisenhower called for the foul? Coach Johnny Estelle is looking back there in the backcourt at Will Shayer going, come on now. Tell you what, I think both coaches are not real happy, but I like seeing it more where you have both coaches are unhappy with their players rather than some of the calls that are being made. They're trying to hold their guys accountable, and Johnny Estelle is every bit of that and then some. 1-and-1 free throw is good. Chauncey Thomas makes that one. He's got 7. Kingsville in the second half has continued to shoot well. Second one is no good. Awuzie says, I'll grab that. Thank you. Rebound number 4 for Emmanuel and St. Mary's. They have the basketball back. Rebounds right now are even. Each team with 24 of them. Pretty low total for these two teams. Rattlers average 38. Javelinas average 35. A lot of ball to still be played, though, as Jordan drives, leans in. He's held from behind. This time, though, he looked like he slipped. He's still slow to get up. Other end, 2 points. 4-point swing right there. Chauncey Thomas scores again. And Kingsville has hit 3 straight shots again. 6 of their last 8. As Kobe McGee spins into his own guy. Chauncey Thomas at the other end lays it up. Oh, he missed it. Flowers, though, makes the shot as Awuzie is on the deck. Sloppier play occurring. Rattlers got some work, though. They know their immediate timeout's coming. St. Mary's only has 1 more left. It's a 7-0 run. 3-point shot is up and in. Oh, and the Rattlers needed that one. Marquise Houston finally able to find one. Puts it back at 8. That's right. I think they got to get that checked on the scoreboard. That's some issues with it, but Javelinas with that run put him back up. 3:26 to go. There is a timeout coming. Chauncey Thomas throws it to the right side. Trey Flowers is open. Air ball, but a rebound put back for two. Deontay McClellan is up and in, and it's a 10-point lead just like that. Just when you thought St. Mary's had come back and cut it to 3. They walked to their final media timeout of regulation, down 10 points, and a free throw attempt coming on the other side of this 60-second timeout for the Javelinas. 73-63. Kingsville leading St. Mary's. Back after this timeout on the Lone Star Conference Network. .316 to play here in the second half. Rattlers are down 73-63. They've been outscored 48-30 here in the second half. Kingsville, who was mentioned at halftime, you know, they're not afraid to trail. They are 5-3 this season when trailing at halftime. Has played very well here in this 16-minute stretch. Bonus free throw is good from Deontay McClellan, who's now got 7. Flowers and Thomas have combined for 40 tonight. At halftime, they were at 15. Big second half from both guys. Rashawn has had the biggest of the two. Rattlers, can they find one more surge? They were in control of this game at halftime. Eisenhower down the lane, missed the shot, gets his rebound, but as soon as he dropped it below his waist, it is a foul call, it looks like, on Deontay McClellan, who tried to tie it up. He was pretty close, and Coach Estelle can't believe it. I'm with him because I think that the way Dylan dropped that, if Deontay McClellan came in and grabbed the ball first, which he might have gotten Dylan's hand, I think that's why the foul came, but had he, Coach Estelle's got certainly the point. That's what he was looking for, as Eisenhower misses the free throw. Struggle at 15 feet away with the clock stopped has returned for the Rattlers. Last place team in the conference in free throw percentage. Had their best game of the season at the line on Thursday. It's tough how you can kind of hit the switch like that. Eisenhower goes 1 for 2. 10-point game. Again, St. Mary's has one timeout left. They don't have fouls to give. Cross-court pass to Flowers, who's holding. Will give the ball back out, and the Javelinas will burn some time off. They're in the driver's seat. St. Mary's needs a couple of misses. Or a turnover. Awuzie, does he have it? He's trying. Ball is deflected, and it's out of bounds. And I think it's going to go back to St. Mary's as Awuzie hit the ground hard. Landed on his midsection and isn't real happy about it. It is St. Mary's basketball as Coach Estelle not happy about it. They're getting everything knocked down, and I think Coach Estelle is just kind of going, how's that not our ball? 2:22 to play. That's a tough call on a young official, I'll promise you that much. You know, you don't get anything for stuff like that, but Javelinas know it. You got to make it up on the road. They've played very well away. They have lost a couple of times. All 3 losses are away, but they've won 4 times as well. Rattlers need good offensive possessions the rest of the way. Kobe McGee straight on for 3, and it's up and good. Kobe McGee with 11 points. We'll stay here for the timeout as St. Mary's takes their final of the game. 7-point game with 2:04 remaining. Fans, don't forget, Rattlers are back at home in a couple of weeks. They will return home after a road trip to Lubbock and San Angelo, taking on Lubbock Christian and Angelo State. They are back here on January the 30th. We'll have that game for you. Dallas Baptist is in town. That'll be a doozy of a game. Both men and women will play 5:30 and 7:30, and then Tarleton State is here on Saturday on February the 1st. Not to mention, baseball season is upon us. Join us on the final day of January. Cameron in town to take on Charlie Meagle's Rattlers. Looking forward to a lot of new faces, but there's a lot of guys that are also back from last year's group that should be very, very talented. And saw the guys out there. They were practicing today. They're looking forward to get their season started. The softball team will also get underway in a couple of weekends. However, as we mentioned, they are on the road. Really had a good time chatting with Athletic Director Rob Coleman earlier today. We talked with him at halftime of our women's game. Don't forget, keep in mind his Coleman's Corners. They'll be up. Plus, hopefully we'll get a chance to get him out here again before the basketball season concludes. I know he's hopeful that, again, this first year in the Lone Star Conference, it's already produced one championship. Men's soccer, what a run they had to the Sweet 16, and the basketball team's now trying to follow suit ahead of the spring sports. That there's a lot of promise set for that as well. In the backcourt, Rattlers will pressure, trying to get on top of the ball. Again, foul trouble to be aware of. Kirtland Wesley has 4, is on the bench. As that ball plays around to the right side, had another technical foul issued, I believe, earlier. As Thomas lobs it underneath, good find, and a finish to Deontay McClellan. Thomas comes up with his 7th assist. Chauncey Thomas now with 57 on the year, and that might be a backbreaker right there. St. Mary's has hit 11 threes, 6 in the second half. They've shot the ball okay, but their defense has not been good enough. And somewhere between the mix of okay defense and awesome shooting on the other side. Foul committed underneath, and tell you what, Deontay McClellan, who had reached in, just kind of looked over there and was going, "What's up?" John Mouton is the man called for that foul. That's his 5th. His game is over. Finishes with 6 rebounds, 3 turnovers. He has to go out. He is a slow-walking fella to the bench. You know, Coach Estelle's looking up, and you can hear there's some frustrated Kingsville fans. They have talked about it with what's going on. And Coach Estelle, you know, as much as it is, he's still upset with talking with his player who just fouled out and said, "Hey, why are you in that situation?" You know, to me, that's always been a great sign of leadership. You know, and you see coaches not blaming the officials for the call. Yeah, it might have been a bad call in his eyes, but at the same time, you can't be in that spot. You just got to be smarter than that. And it's still the smartest teams win, not the most talented teams. Talent will take you a long way. Smart teams win the national championship, the conference championship, things like that. Eisenhower makes 2 important free throws, 7-point game with 75 seconds to go. Rattlers have to get some stops, and a timeout is taken by Kingsville. They'll have 1 left. We'll stay right here. Checking in on the Lone Star Conference scoreboard on the men's side. Midwestern State continues to lead Cameron 76-68. Angelo State and Eastern New Mexico at halftime right now. Angelo's up by 5 points in Portales. In our game, of course, it's 76-69 St. Mary's. UT Tyler falling behind by now 18 points at home to Arkansas Fort Smith. Tyler, again, one of the first-year head coaches, Lewis Wilson, trying to help that program make the transition from Division III to Division II. They're going to be okay. He knows his stuff. Former assistant at Utah State. Got a chance to watch him actually in Colorado at Adams State as well. He's going to win basketball games. West Texas A&M and Lubbock Christian. A final score, the Buffaloes defeat Lubbock 92-68. Tarleton over Western New Mexico. And then Texas A&M Commerce over Oklahoma Christian 82-69. That game was close for a while, but Commerce able to have a surge at the end of that game. 68 seconds to go. Inbound for the Javelinas in front of their own bench. Chased down by Chauncey Thomas. Again, No fouls to give. If the Rattlers foul, it'll be a 1-and-1 action. They got one more of those. St. Mary's, though, again, you look at it, the way they've shot the three, there's some chances still. Door's still open. Right side, three-point attempt is up. Rashawn Thomas closes it shut a little bit more. 10-point game again. Rashawn Thomas with 20. My goodness, he has had himself a game. 10th time this season, he's got 15 or more. Rattlers answer, though. They get a quick three. They needed that in the worst way possible. Caleb Jordan continues to be money from outside. They just can't get Caleb the ball enough. 7-point game with 37.1 seconds left, and there's that foul committed. So it's the 9th team foul. That's on Caleb Jordan, 1-and-1 at the line. Chauncey Thomas, 69% on the season, is 4 of 6 today. And now a whistle and a stoppage. They were checking. The officials again got mixed up. They had said 2 shots. It was a 1-and-1. Shot is up. It is good. Coach Z, Bubba Meyer, all you can do is shake your head. You got your miss. That's frustrating. 8-point game. As Chauncey Thomas will make both. 81-72, 36 seconds left. Rattlers have to hustle and get something to work as Caleb Jordan is blocked. Good job over there. Defensively, Rashawn Thomas got a piece of it. Rattlers foul, but probably just about done. St. Mary's had a big home stretch, and they knew it. They knew they had to play well today, but they have surrendered 81 on the other side. Kingsville has scored 80-plus for the 5th time this season, where they have not lost, by the way, when doing so. Trying to put behind a 73-64 loss Thursday night. Free throw number 1 is good by Will Shayer. Shayer's got 8 points, trying to become the 4th player to double figures. He's going to have to get there again after this. Flowers and Thomas, though. Rashawn Thomas, 43 points between the two. 13 points at halftime. They have erupted. Really came out quickly. Kobe McGee fires a desperation 3, no good. Ball goes out of bounds. Kingsville basketball, and that will just about do it. Rattlers don't have any more fouls to give. See if they make the Javelinas at least try to get it in one more time. And this 11-point game. It's frustrating. Rattlers are going to lose an 8-point lead that they had. But it is what it is. St. Mary's previously 9-1 when leading at halftime. As Chauncey Thomas will circle it back around. Kingsville will have their first victory in a couple of seasons here in Bill Greehey Arena. They pick up their 21st all-time victory against the Rattlers, and again they avoid a 2-game slide for the 4th time this season. Texas A&M Kingsville improves to 13-4. They're now 9-2 in conference play. This is a nice win for the Javelinas on the road. St. Mary's falls to 9-8. They're now 5-6 in conference play. Rattlers are on the road next week. As we mentioned, Lubbock Christian on Thursday, Angelo State on Saturday. Kingsville will return home. They will welcome in West Texas A&M. Final totals for you. The visiting Javelinas shoot 71% in the second half. 20 of 28, 6 of 10 from downtown. They hit their free throws down the stretch as well. There's, as we mentioned, 23 points out there from Trey Flowers, 20 out on the deck for Rashawn Thomas. Off the bench, 10 for Chauncey Thomas in this basketball game. Big game for Caleb Jordan. I thought Caleb played well, gave his team a chance down the stretch. He goes 5 of 7 from downtown and scores a team-high 21 points. The 6th time this season he has scored at least 20. Marquise Houston finishes with 15. McGee has 11.